Welcome back to Monarchy Moments. Today, we're diving into a royal storyline that's as rich in tradition as it is tangled in modern-day challenges. His Majesty King Charles III has been at the center of a whirlwind, a mix of serene summer retreat and a chilling warning from a top royal insider that could shake the very path of the House of Windsor. This isn't just another royal update. It's a moment that shows the monarchy holding on to centuries of legacy while battling the relentless demands of the 21st century. Every decision, every gesture could define its future in ways we've never seen before. So settle in, because we're about to unpack the quiet elegance of the king's seasonal pause side by side with a caution so sharp it could change royal history. And if you love getting the real inside scoop on the crown, hit that like button and subscribe. Your support keeps these royal truths coming straight to you. Now, picture this: the rolling green hills and misty air of the Scottish Highlands. A place that's more than just a postcard-perfect escape for the royals. Balmoral Castle, tucked deep in the beauty of Aberdeenshire, isn't just a summer retreat. It's the royal family's sacred hideaway, a spot dripping with history and personal meaning. Bought in 1852 by Prince Albert for Queen Victoria, Balmoral has always been different from the pomp of Buckingham Palace. No official duties, no endless ceremonies, just peace, privacy, and the freedom to breathe without the constant flash of cameras. It's where the royals trade in tiaras for walking boots and find space to think, reflect, and simply be. But on Sunday, August 10th, that calm took on a curious twist. At 76 years old, King Charles III was spotted behind the wheel, driving entirely alone to the traditional Sunday service. The king's destination? Kirk, a quaint, storybook-like church just a stone's throw from Balmoral. This modest chapel might look unassuming from the outside, but it's been woven into royal history for well over a century. Queen Victoria herself laid its foundation stone back in 1893, and since then, it's been the backdrop for royal christenings, weddings, and deeply private moments of remembrance. Unlike the towering majesty of Westminster Abbey or St. Paul's Cathedral, Kirk has a warmth to it, almost like a family's private corner of faith, away from the noise of public life. On this day, cameras from the Daily Mail caught King Charles in his silver estate car, windows rolled down, gliding along a leafy lane that looked like something from a royal fairy tale. What stood out wasn't just the drive. It was the king himself. No guards in sight, no pomp or ceremony, just a calm, composed Charles enjoying the short ride from Balmoral to his little place of worship. It was a moment that struck a chord. A monarch carrying the weight of a nation, still carving out pockets of personal freedom. Seeing King Charles behind the wheel instead of in the back of a chauffeured car spoke volumes. It hinted at a grounded, approachable vision for the monarchy, one that feels less like a fortress and more like a family. It even brought back echoes of the late Queen Elizabeth II, who was often spotted enjoying her own moments of quiet independence. But this drive wasn't just charming. It was intriguing. The timing was everything. Only days earlier, Charles had been in full ceremonial mode, taking on a high-profile duty that couldn't have been more different from his Balmoral solitude. On Wednesday, August 6th, the king traveled north to RAF Lossiemouth, a vital Royal Air Force base. There, he took part in an event steeped in tradition, personally presenting the squadron standard to number 42nd Squadron. These standards aren't just flags, they're the soul of a unit, often marked by battle, rich with history, and carried as symbols of honor, sacrifice, and pride. Moments like these remind us just how deeply the king takes his role as Commander-in-Chief of the British Armed Forces. It's a position he holds with the same gravity as his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, a living link between the monarchy and the nation's defenders. But what made this week so striking wasn't just his military duty. It was how quickly he shifted from full regalia to that solitary, quiet drive to Kirk. And here's where the mood changes, because this peaceful scene came right after a bombshell warning from one of the most respected voices in royal commentary. This wasn't idle gossip. It came from Andrew Loney, a renowned historian and biographer known for his sharp, unflinching deep dives into powerful public figures. His works on Guy Burgess and Lord Mountbatten are considered essential reading for anyone serious about royal history. When Loney speaks, people listen, and his latest words carry an edge. While promoting his upcoming book, The Rise and Fall of the House of York, he hinted at troubling undercurrents within today's royal family. The title alone, dripping with echoes of historic betrayals and dynastic clashes, sets the tone. And according to Loney, some of those same fault lines may be forming again, especially among the royals who orbit on the edge of the working monarchy, a warning that could shake the palace walls. While promoting his upcoming book, Andrew Loney didn't just talk history, he threw down advice that landed like a thunderclap in royal circles. Speaking on the August 7th edition of Palace Confidential, a go-to hub for unfiltered, sharp royal commentary, Loney didn't mince his words. His message to King Charles was crystal clear. Keep the entire York family at arm's length. And he didn't stop there. Loney dropped a chilling hint, warning that more scandals are on the way. Those 4 words alone, more scandals to emerge, are enough to send a cold shiver through anyone who's followed the monarchy's rocky recent years. They carry the weight of a warning that the king simply can't afford another reputational hit this early in his reign. Loney wasn't speaking in vague terms either. His pointed caution named names: Prince Andrew, the king's own brother, and Sarah Ferguson, Andrew's former wife who still enjoys close ties to the family. With Fergie often staying at Royal Lodge, the proximity, both literal and emotional, could be a ticking time bomb for a monarchy trying to project unity and stability. Loney's warning didn't just stop at Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, it stretched to their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. By casting the net over the entire York branch, he made it clear this wasn't about one person's mistakes. It was about the risk their collective presence could pose to the crown's image. The implication? Even without fresh scandals, their proximity alone could drag the monarchy back into the shadows of old controversies. And while Loney didn't dig into the messy details, the subtext was obvious. The ghost of Prince Andrew's past still lingers. For royal watchers, those words instantly stir memories of the Epstein connection, that disastrous Newsnight interview, and the civil sexual assault lawsuit that ended with Andrew losing his military titles, patronages, and effectively being erased from public royal life. For King Charles, still in the early chapters of his reign, the stakes couldn't be higher. He's made no secret of his plan to slim down the monarchy, keeping it lean, cost-efficient, and far less vulnerable to scandal. It's a strategy meant to shield the institution from reputational damage, ease the taxpayers' burden, and present a tighter, more polished royal front to the world. Keeping close ties, even family ties, with figures who've drawn heavy negative press runs directly against King Charles's vision of a slim, credible, and scandal-free monarchy. That chilling phrase from Loney, "more scandals to emerge," hangs in the air like a warning bell, reminding everyone just how carefully the monarchy must balance public trust with private loyalty. And so that solitary drive to church suddenly feels heavier. Was it just a pleasant Sunday routine? Or a moment of deep reflection? Maybe Charles was quietly weighing the hard decisions ahead. Decisions about who remains inside the royal fold and who must be kept at a distance. Perhaps it was his way of signaling that he intends to steer the crown with a steady, uncompromising hand, protecting both his personal peace and the institution's fragile integrity. Or maybe it was simpler still, a sliver of calm before the family descended on Balmoral for their annual summer gathering. A chance to breathe before stepping back into the intricate dance of royal life under constant scrutiny. Some even see it as a quiet display of independence, a reminder that despite the pomp, the king still claims moments of normalcy in a life that allows so few. Either way, the Highland tradition rolls on. Despite the whispers and tensions, the Balmoral summer break is set to continue as always, with royal watchers expecting the imminent arrival of the Prince of Wales and his wife, ready to join the king in Scotland's most storied royal retreat. Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales, will join her husband in the Highlands, their arrival marking the continuation of a treasured royal tradition. For the family, Balmoral offers more than just sweeping scenery and peace from the cameras. It's a rare bubble of privacy, a time to reconnect and recharge away from the relentless pressures of public duty. But this year's gathering carries a sharper undercurrent. Behind the fishing trips and fireside chats, there's likely to be quiet but pivotal conversations about the monarchy's next moves, especially with King Charles pushing for a leaner, more modern operation. These Balmoral meetings, far from the spotlight, have often been where subtle but far-reaching strategic choices are made. That's why Charles's recent solo drive to Kirk feels so loaded in hindsight. On one hand, it was a simple moment of reflection. On the other, it stood in stark contrast to the thunderous warning from royal biographer Andrew Loney about Prince Andrew, the Yorks, and the possibility of more scandals to emerge. Now, as the king prepares to greet the Prince and Princess of Wales, the summer calm is layered with quiet tension. The question looms: how will Charles balance blood ties with his duty to protect the monarchy's image? The answer could define the stability of his reign. As the Highland summer days stretch on, Balmoral's halls will soon fill with the laughter of children, the clink of teacups, and the hum of private conversations that never make it to the press. Yet beneath the idyllic surface, this year's retreat carries the weight of decision-making that could ripple across the monarchy for years to come. For King Charles, every walk through the gardens, every fireside moment with his heirs is an opportunity to quietly reinforce his vision. A monarchy that's slimmer, more transparent, and far less vulnerable to the bruising blows of scandal. But with the York family still a point of contention, and Lowney's words still echoing in the background, even the most peaceful days at Balmoral feel charged with unspoken stakes. Royal insiders say that such gatherings, away from public scrutiny, often double as informal summits, where family bonds and political instincts collide. And while the public sees only smiling photo ops behind closed doors, the king could be drawing invisible lines that will shape the royal family's public face for the next decade. As the final weeks of the royal summer retreat unfold, the monarchy finds itself at a crossroads. On one side, the warmth of tradition, family picnics, church services, and Balmoral's timeless charm. On the other, the sharp reality of modern scrutiny and the ever-present threat of scandal. King Charles stands at the center of it all, balancing the affection he holds for his family with the duty to protect the institution's dignity. Every choice he makes now could echo far beyond the Highlands, shaping how the monarchy is seen for generations. The shadow of Loney's warning still lingers, but so too does the king's resolve to keep the crown steady through uncertain waters. This moment leaves plenty to think about when it comes to the royal family's delicate inner workings, and the challenge of keeping centuries-old tradition alive in a world that's constantly changing. Should King Charles take Andrew Loney's advice and keep the York family at a careful distance to safeguard the monarchy's image? Or should blood ties and loyalty come first, even if it risks another wave of public backlash? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us where you stand. Do you back a tighter, scandal-proof royal circle, or believe families should stick together no matter what? Your perspective makes these discussions richer, and we read every single one. And if you're as fascinated by these royal twists as we are, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the crown's most guarded stories.